A secret at the heart of the government of Bangladesh. The Ahmed clan, a crime family at the center of power.
We are not talking about some small-time thief here or a small-time robber here. We're talking about organized crime syndicate.
The clan includes 3 convicted killers, at least one who protected the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina.
He was personal bodyguard. He had direct contact with Hasina.
Our investigation reveals how the head of the Bangladesh army keeps his fugitive brothers safe and helps them get rich.
This is his brother, actually. His elder brother is running the country.
He has the power of Bangladesh army. He has the power of his brothers because they are gangsters. They are mafia.
The army chief helps the Prime Minister pursue absolute power.
Sheikh Hasina has been very, very upfront and transparent about her goal of destroying the opposition.
The Muslim-majority nation secretly buys spyware from Israel, a country it officially doesn't recognize.
I could never say the Bangladesh army is my customer because you cannot do that.
It's spyware that can track political enemies.
It is highly intrusive and it is indiscriminate. It can hardly ever be compliant with human rights.
A Dhaka crime family says it has the tools of the state at its disposal. An international conference on disaster management is taking place in Singapore. Among those attending, the head of the Bangladesh military. Aziz Ahmed is a 4-star general. His title, Chief of Army Staff.
I always look at General Aziz and I see one of the most ambitious military officers I have ever seen in Bangladesh.
Al Jazeera's I unit tracks the general's movements. When his official duties are over, he flies to Kuala Lumpur, the Malaysian capital. On the plane, he sends a text message to a contact called Hassan, Hungary. Waiting at the airport are 2 men, identified from police files. They are Aziz's brothers. One is the man Aziz referred to in his text, Hassan, Hungary. His real name, Haris Ahmed. He fled a murder conviction and now lives under a false identity. He calls himself Mohammed Hassan. Also waiting is the youngest of the Ahmed clan, Joseph. He served more than 20 years in jail for the same killing. There appears to be a last-minute change of plan. Instead of meeting his brothers in public, the general exits using a diplomatic channel. The brothers leave the airport in separate cars. They regroup at a gated house in downtown Kuala Lumpur. Diplomatic cars from the Bangladesh High Commission are parked outside. Our surveillance team watches the property. The following day, the general returns with his younger brother, Joseph. Then another man emerges from behind the gates. General Aziz has led us to the oldest of the Ahmed clan, Anis. Anis Ahmed has been on the run since his conviction for the same murder as his brothers. He's built a prosperous life in his new homeland. Property records identify two owners of the house where the clan is staying, Anis Ahmed and Mohammed Hassan.
That's Haris, the brother of Aziz. And this man is Anis Ahmed, the other brother. He's also absconding. Interestingly, he hasn't changed his name.
The Ahmed clan sets off escorted by diplomatic cars. They head to the Bangladesh High Commission for the evening. At one time, they were a backstreet gang. Now, they are expanding their power in Bangladesh and increasing their wealth abroad. Aziz, the general. Anis, the fugitive we found in Malaysia. Joseph, jailed for 2 decades. And Haris, a killer on the run. The investigation moves to Hungary. For the past 5 years, Haris Ahmed has lived a double life in the Hungarian capital.
Haris is a very cold-blooded criminal. He is someone who would harm you if he doesn't like you. I got to understand that this person is not a very normal person. He is kind of a psychopath.
A former business associate speaks to us.
So it all started back in 2014, December. I received a phone call from an acquaintance of mine that General Aziz Ahmed is visiting Hungary. He requested me if I can accompany him during his visit because there is no Bangladesh embassy here in Hungary.
Sami took him sightseeing. The general had a proposal.
He asked me that if I can assist him to set up a business for his brother who is living in India at that moment. I said, sure, if he wants to establish his business, I can assist him. After leaving from Budapest, I received a mail from General Aziz where he asked what are the things involved to establish the business. I replied him what are with the detailed requirements of paperwork. Nothing of it raised any alarm to me. I have seen on all documents that his name is Mohammed Hassan, and I was not that curious to check or go through his documents. And as it comes from someone like General Aziz, there is no point that I would doubt any authenticity of his documents.
We've obtained the fake documents used to build up Haris Ahmed's new identity. It includes a passport. It's signed by Kulsum, an official from the Department of Immigration and Passports. She was later charged as part of a criminal network involved in passport fraud.
In order to get a fake passport, you need to get a fake national identity card. And in order to get a fake national identity card, you need to falsify a number of different documents, which could include a fake birth certificate, an education certificate, a marriage certificate. And in getting all of these documents, within Bangladesh, he's committing a host of different criminal offenses within the country. And then, of course, he then used that to get a passport, and that passport is a fake passport under a false name. And in flying under that passport, he would have committed offenses in all of the countries that he traveled to.
The documents were sent from General Aziz's office. At the time, Aziz was head of the Border Guards Bangladesh, or BGB.
Oh, this is really interesting. The witnesses on this document are Major Sujal Haq and Brigadier General Abul Hasnat. They're both in BGB, and they were both in BGB at the time when General Aziz was the head of BGB. So presumably, Aziz has managed to get these men to sign a document which is a forgery.
Another BGB officer, Major Sami Rashid, sent this email with Aziz copied. It certifies a bank account held in Bangladesh by a Mohammed Hassan. A delivery note shows Major Rashid's role in shipping the fake documents.
So in order to commit this fraud, to make it work, to get the signatures, to send it to Hungary, General Aziz has managed to make a variety of different senior military officers as accomplices.
Haris Ahmed arrives in Budapest in early summer 2015. Documents obtained by the I Unit chart his efforts to build a new life under the direction of his brother, General Aziz. He sets up the Bay of Bengal company. His wife, daughter and son-in-law are co-owners. The Bay of Bengal is an umbrella company covering a number of businesses. There is a clothes shop called Niveau Fashion. General Aziz inspects the family investment. But the shop closes after 6 months. Bay of Bengal purchases another company, Taylorville. Next, it opens a restaurant in the heart of the city. It shuts down after 5 months. There is a hostel business providing cheap accommodation. It's called Bengal Hostel and closes within a year. Graham Barrow advises banks on how to prevent money laundering.
This is highly indicative of structures put together for criminal intent. You're looking for any business that generates large amounts of cash. It's like restaurants, hotels still do a lot of cash businesses, or hostels. Technically, it's called commingling, which is like mingling dirty money with clean money, so that you can't tell which is which.
Haris doesn't seem to care about his businesses. The Bay of Bengal reports a string of losses, losing thousands of dollars in various failed ventures.
He would go out, drink at bars. If he would meet some woman, he would bring them to the hostel and they would party. He really doesn't match a businessman's profile to me.
Sami discovers that Haris's financial interests lie elsewhere. Haris acts as a middleman who uses his connections to secure deals, especially official Bangladesh government contracts. Haris wants Sami to help with a contract to supply Hungarian-made bullets to the Bangladesh army. Haris wants to use Sami as a frontman.
ওনার ভাই এই হিসাবে আমি আর্মিতে কোনো জায়গায় আমি শোবো না, আপনি শোইবেন। কাজের দরকার, আমাকে পয়সার দরকার। আমার শো দরকার কি আমি ওইখানে আপনার লগে যে বইয়া থাকবো, আমি কে পরিচয় দিবেন না। না দেখেন নাকি আমি পয়সা দিই আপনারা, আমরা খাইবেন আমি কেমন, এটা তো আর অটোমেটিক, এখানে তো আর অন্য কিছু না, এখানে ডাইরেক্ট চলে যাবো পয়সা।
Haris finds out that a deal for military supplies to Bangladesh is taking place without his knowledge. He plans to stop it.
যে এরকম আমি যদি আটকায় না দিতে পারছি, আটকায় আপনার কাছে যদি না এসে দৌড়েয়া,
ওকে,
তাহলে আমার নাম হারিস না। ওকে, আর্মিতে কথা বলতে কটা বাজে বাংলাদেশে?
বাংলাদেশ এখন বাজে 7টা-8টা মতো বাজে। He would start making phone calls to Bangladesh, to different individuals. He will bully them in very nasty way. He will abuse those people whom he is calling.
Haris is calling a senior officer in the DGFI, Bangladesh's military intelligence.
ভাই আসসালামু আলাইকুম ওই যে আপনারা বলছিলাম না যে ইউরোপের কিছু হইলে তারপরে হাঙ্গেরির আর একটু ভিড়ে দেন নামটা খালি বাকিটা আমি দেখি একটু দেখেন ঠিক আছে ভাই আমি একটা রেফারেন্স পাঠাইতেছি আমি একটা কাগজ পাঠাইতেছি যেটা হাঙ্গেরির দিকে চেষ্টা করতেছে এটা একটু দেখেন ঠিক আছে ভাই ওকে ভাই
Haris tells Sami more about his business operation.
তারপর আমি তো জানি হাঙ্গেরি কিছু হইলে যদি আমার কাছে না আসে ওই বেটা কোনো কিছু নিতে পারবো না এই পর্যন্ত নেই নেই কেটালাম দেখ বেটা নিয়ে থাকে আমার একটা প্রমাণ দেয় তারা কানটা কাইটা কুত্তার গলায় তুমি একেবারে এখানে কুত্তা আছে না দরকার পয়সাটা কিনেই না কুত্তার গলায় দিয়ে দেবো
Haris says his role as a middleman is sanctioned by the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina.
প্রধানমন্ত্রী শুদ্ধ হানি কইছে যে আরি জোহান যদি কিছু করতে চাও করুক আমরা হেল্প করবো আর কি চাই
The destiny of the Ahmed clan has long been entwined with the story of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She is the eldest daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who founded Bangladesh as an independent nation in 1971. The country faces the aftermath of war. There is poverty and starvation. Law and order break down. As the crisis escalates, Sheikh Mujib abolishes opposition parties. The army stages a coup. Hasina and her sister are in Europe.
The ambassador from Germany, he called. So he told me that there was a coup in Bangladesh. The moment I heard it, my feeling was that then nobody is there. Perhaps we lost everybody. But still, we didn't know what really happened.
Army officers enter Sheikh Mujib's home. He is murdered along with 13 family members, including his 10-year-old son.
The murder of Sheikh Mujib and his family was one of the most brutal episodes in the history of Bangladesh. The murderers even did not spare his little son. A large part of Sheikh Hasina's politics is shaped by her quest for justice, by her mission to avenge the killings.
Less than 2 kilometers from where Sheikh Mujib is murdered, the Ahmed family lives in a sprawling district called Mohammadpur. Aziz is the second of 5 boys and a young teenager at the time.
They would grown up in a very poor condition.
Iqbal knew the family. He asked us to conceal his identity.
His father had a low-level job, and whatever he earned, they couldn't run their family.
Growing up amongst poverty and political strife, the 5 young Ahmed brothers form a close-knit bond. But Aziz stands out. In 1981, he joins the Bangladesh army. The other 4, Anis, Haris, Joseph, and another brother, Tipu, they turn to crime.
They were extorting money. They were doing kidnapping. They became a gang. It started from very small. Then they started killing people.
They had a specific area in Dhaka around Mohammadpur, which they controlled, which they sort of divided amongst themselves with other crime bosses of Dhaka city. and they would go and extort businesses, and they ruled over that area as if it was their personal fiefdoms.
These are criminals that we're talking about. They are killers who have caused significant amount of damage to human life.
While living in exile in India, Sheikh Hasina becomes leader of the Awami League, the party her father had led. In 1981, she returns to Bangladesh.
I started to mobilize people. The then government tried to prevent me so that I shouldn't come back. But I decided to accept it and come back to work for democracy.
The military is now running the country, and several times Hasina is placed under house arrest. There are attacks on her life. The I unit has obtained covertly recorded phone calls of General Aziz speaking to a colleague. The conversations took place in 2020. Aziz describes how his brothers protected the leaders of Sheikh Hasina's party, the Awami League.
যখন হলো আওয়ামী লীগ ওই জাতীয় পার্টির সময় যখন হলো সবচেয়ে খারাপ সময় যাচ্ছিল, যখন তারা তাদের কেন্দ্রীয় অফিসে বসতে পারতো না, তখন কিন্তু মাই ব্রাদার্স দে ওয়ার দ্য মেইন স্ট্রেংথ অফ দিস পার্টি। কেন্দ্রীয় নেতারা এসে আমার ছোট ভাইয়ের অফিসে বসে তারা হলো পার্টির হলো প্রোগ্রাম এখান থেকে অ্যানাউন্স করতো তারা, কারণ অন্য জায়গায় তারা নিরাপদ মনে করতো না, তো তারা ছিল ইয়াতে।
The clan is feared, but also faces vengeance. One brother, Tipu, is murdered.
Tipu, he was a very renowned gangster, very sharpshooter, very intelligent. Among the brothers, he was the most intelligent person.
It was a time when politicians and the street gangs needed each other.
These kinds of gangs, they were involved in extortion, petty street crimes, extracting money from businessmen. But they also acted as muscle for politicians when required. They tended to link up with certain politicians, and they were used by politicians at particular moments when it served their interests.
In the mid-1990s, Haris Ahmed joins Hasina's personal protection team.
This is Haris, Sheikh Hasina.
Iqbal remembers Haris from that period.
He is around Hasina's security, personal security. And that meeting was in Muhammadpur. That is Haris's area. He organized all the meetings. He was personal bodyguard.
General Aziz recalls a recent statement by Sheikh Hasina to party leaders.
Honorable said যে দেখো ওর ভাইরা কে আমার থেকে বেশি তোমরা জানো না।
The Prime Minister compares the loyalty of the Ahmed clan, who protected her when she was attacked, to the inaction of the senior politicians surrounding her now.
কোথায় ছিল যখন হলো নাই যে যখন আমার বাড়িতে গ্রেনেড হামলা করে, আমার বাড়িতে এরকম করে, আমি কোথায় ছিল তোমরা? এই চিফের ভাইরা আমার আশেপাশে ছিল, তারা ছিল তখন আমার মেইন চালিকা শক্তি। তোমরা কোথায় ছিল তখন?
A murder on a busy street in Mohammedpur will define the Ahmed clan's future. Mustafa Rahman is said to be from a rival political party, one linked to the killing of Sheikh Hasina's family. Mustafa and two colleagues are surrounded. Mustafa is rushed to hospital. He gives a witness statement to a magistrate.
Joseph, Harris, and Anis have shot me. Harris shot me with a licensed gun. Joseph took the pistol from my waist and shot me in the stomach with it. The others also had pistols in their hands, and they shot at random. I was shot 9 times.
5 days later, he dies. With his testimony, he becomes the key witness at his own murder trial. One month after Mustafa Rahman's murder, Sheikh Hasina becomes Bangladesh's new Prime Minister. The 3 Ahmed brothers are charged with murder. 8 years later, when Hasina is no longer in power, they're convicted. Joseph is sentenced to death. Anis and Haris are sentenced to life imprisonment. But they're already on the run. For 15 years, they're not found, until the I unit tracks them down.
Haris Ahmed was one of the top gangsters of the country who was being hunted by the police. Anis Ahmed, he was accused for a very brutal murder. I don't think that they could have fled the country without some sort of help from some powerful people.
The sequence of events is quite interesting. Around 1994-95, Haris, he acted as her bodyguard. Then, a year later, 1996, a murder of somebody who is said to be a political rival to Sheikh Hasina took place, in which the 3 brothers, including Haris, were subsequently convicted. But maybe she feels the less she knows about all of that, the better.
Sami discovers that his business partner, Haris Ahmed, is a wanted murderer on an Interpol Red Notice list.
I felt that I have been used as a tool to provide a passage to a safe country for this man who established business with my assistance. And I felt that Mr. Haris and General Aziz have used me. I thought of reporting him to the police, but again, I was fearful of my life.
Sami tries to cut ties with the Ahmed clan. But when he does, the general sends him threatening emails.
General Aziz became very violent with his words. He became very furious. He sent me emails where he directly threatened me. And he said that if his brother has to return to Bangladesh, then people responsible will regret their life.
General Aziz keeps trying to draw Sami into his web. He's moving his money out of Bangladesh for life after the military. He wants to find businesses to invest his money in. By 2019, Sami's had enough, but he goes along with their schemes. Except now, he's working with the I unit. Haris is flying in from a business trip.
Assalamu alaikum. হ্যাঁ ভালো আছেন
এই যে মিস্টার রহমান আমি ক্যানাডা রহমান ফ্রম ক্যানাডা
Haris arrives with Mohammed Rahman, a financial advisor from Canada. Rahman runs an immigration service that helps wealthy Bangladesh